Okay, so let's start today's lesson with our initial prayer. Let's elevate our thoughts, calm our hearts. Let's be thankful for this opportunity to study the gospel one more time. Let's ask for the good spirits to be here with us, to guide us through this study, to help us understand a little bit more about the gospel and how to put in practice in our everyday lives. To all the spirits that are around, that need help, that they might find the light that they need during this time that we are all connected, studying the gospel of Jesus. And so be it. Okay, so today we are going to continue chapter 24. Chapter 24 talks about the theme of the chapter is do not hide the light under a bushel. And today we're gonna study the topic, the healthy do not need a doctor. So starting with the feast on Matthew chapter 9, 10 to 12, it says, as Jesus sat at Matthew's house, behold, many publicans and sinners came down and sat with him and his disciples. So for just a reminder, the publicans were those tax collectors from back then. They were known as, when they were collecting taxes, they were always collect a little bit more for themselves. So they were not seen as very good Samaritans. So the publicans and sinners came down and sat with Jesus and his disciples during this feast. And the Pharisees, they're always questioning all Jesus' moves and all his speeches and all his actions. The Pharisees ask, why does your master eat with publicans and sinners? Of course, they were not curious about that. They really wanted to cause, right? Asking this question about this action of Jesus. And when Jesus heard that, he said unto them, they that are healthy do not need a doctor, but they that are sick. So this is what we're going to develop a little bit more during these lives. So what was the meaning of the feast? It demonstrates that the Master embraces everyone who wishes the spiritual feed of his teachings in works from his vineyard. So everyone that were there, the sinners that were there sitting with him, they were listening. They actually took their time to sit down and listen to Jesus. So they were interested on the spiritual feed of Jesus' teachings. And what's the interpretation of the healthy do not need a doctor? The interpretation, the publicans and the sinners were considered sick of the soul. So those were the people that needed a doctor, and Jesus was considering himself the doctor that were helping those publicans and sinners, the sick of the soul. That's why Jesus hosted them, acknowledging them in need of clarification and consolation. So those were the people back then that Jesus thought that they needed the most help. And also they were the people that were sitting among him. None of them were forced to be there. So they were all ready to embrace Jesus' teaching. So he did not care of how they were seen and what would people were talking about them. He cared about the ones that were there. They were sitting next to him. And what kind of people was Jesus looking for? People that were among him. Those who were poor and deprived as they had the greatest need for consolation, together with the blind, the humble, and those of good faith. The dociles and those who were not arrogant. So the people that were sitting next to Jesus, they were not pride. They did not have pride. They were there ready to listen to his words. And then transitioning a little bit, and at the end we're gonna kind of understand the connection between these two themes today. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about mediumship and who are those that have the mediumship. On Allan Kardec's remark, why is mediumship given to persons of little worth and capable of misuse? The mediumship, it is inherent to an organic disposition, and therefore anyone might be gifted with this ability. During this part, I might go a little bit forward with the slides, but we're gonna talk a little bit more about what is the meaning of this on this chapter. The mediumship, it is given without distinction in order to that spirits can bring light to all. And the mediumship in unworthy people. The good spirits come to their help, and the personal advice is to impress them in a manner more striking than if had been received indirectly. God, in his goodness, wishing to spare them the work of having to go out and get help from afar, puts the light straight into their hands. And what if they don't use the mediumship for good? The consequence will be the loss of or perversion of mediunity. Evil spirits will take hold, obsessing, and deceive them. So, and they will experience afflictions due to pride and selfishing that harden the heart. So, what the gospel is talking during this second part, talking about the mediumship, it is exactly that, the question that a lot of people have. Why some unworthy people are given mediumship? And what Kardec is explaining on this chapter is that the mediumship is an organic feeling. Anyone can have it. God gives us the opportunity to use the mediumship for the good, but you also have, on this case, the mediums that do not do it, and unfortunately, they will suffer with that. They will experience afflictions, and that would be very hardened on their heart, especially because they cannot say that it's the lack of knowledge. If you have the mediumship, you are supposed to use that for the good. You are the one that wrote this with your own hands. You wrote your destiny before this reincarnation. So if you have the mediumship, it's something that you had chosen for yourself. Other implications of mediunity: the mediumship doesn't necessarily involve habitual relations with the high spirits. It is an ability to serve as an instrument to the spirits in general. So again, it is an opportunity that God had given to us to serve as an instrument to the spirits in general. It's not something necessary that it's just for us, it's for everyone. And the good medium, it is not the one that communicates with ease, but one who is agreeable to the good spirits and who is helped only by them. So that's what the good medium is considered, the one who is only helped by the good spirits. It is solely in this sense that the excellence of moral qualities becomes the all-powerful influence in mediumship. So some of the reflections from this chapter, remember as we started, we're talking about Jesus, talking about the ones who needed the help, which were the sick. So as Jesus gave the publicans the opportunity of transformation, God offers the mediumship as a way to cure our moral illness. That's why not just the good Christians that are considered good Christians have the mediumship. Everyone is able to exercise this mediumship. God might have given them to the sick in order to help them with their progress, to help them to progress during this life. And as Joanna De Angelis says, Jesus never refuses to help those who welcome him to their heart. So we can consider ourselves the sick, or we can also consider ourselves the doctor, because with our mediumship, we can spread that good word. We can spread whatever help we are capable of doing with the ones that are sick. So there is two ways that we can see ourselves in this chapter. I think the most important thing is that we have chosen to be here. We have chosen our what we are capable of. We know what we are capable of. So do not miss any opportunity that is put into your path. Make sure you use every opportunity to grow and every opportunity to spread Jesus' teachings and spread the gospel. So does anyone have any question? I see that we had Jim joining us a little bit after we started. Hello, Jimmy.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Hi, Rob.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So did you guys have any questions on this? Anything you wanna add on? Any remarks? You good?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
I think it's very straightforward. The only thing that I would comment on is that sometimes people don't have the whole picture. So a lot of times there is a not knowing, and they may have part of it, or they have an ability, but there's so much they don't know, including whatever the responsibility may be with that. Or, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't know.
But I think that's a good point. But you also have those that do not have the resources to look for the help, right? Exercise, maybe the mediumship that they have. But you also have the ones that blame the lack of knowledge to excuse themselves from the duty they're supposed to do. So I think those that have the mediumship very sensitive are the ones that have to be very worried on this chapter. Like, okay, I put myself into this situation, so I better do something with this, right? But you're right. I mean, there is people that don't have, and here we're also not talking just about spiritists. Those are not just the ones that are mediums, right? There is mediums in every religion. There's different ways to exercise the mediumship, but you know, I think spreading the good word, being a good Samaritan, being a good Christian, those are simple things that we can all do, and just be ready to help whenever we are called.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think also like there's some people that they are aware and they take that as an advantage towards other people too. Like you know, taking money, like even that if you have that kind of like a sensitivity, it doesn't mean that you can take advantage of other people, saying like, oh, somebody's looking for a message of a family, and then like, you know, you have this you're able to get message, and then you just pretend you receive somebody's message if that person like pays you money, you know. I think a lot of people that are aware of this sensitivity, they don't know like the huge responsibility that it is, and they can make that as a show instead of like really helping people. I think you
Good point. The slide too, because they might be they might have deceived. They don't even, they think it's a message, but it's not.
And it's not only about like charging, it's like about like making things, like making information up, you know, like just saying like taking advantage of people feelings as well, you know. Just because like I'm able to receive message from like spirits, it doesn't mean that like whenever you want a message from someone that you love, a loved one that passed, it means that I'm gonna receive at that time, you know. I might receive in the future, but like we cannot choose when we want to receive a message. So people can take this kind of advantage too. Like it's not even like for charging, like because we as spiritists believe that like whatever we receive for free, we give it for free. But like of course might be people out there that like charge money, but they really are responsible and like true on their information. But I think the worst in my opinion, it's not only the charge, but like giving wrong information, like feeding the feeling of someone that like is desperate for a message, you know. I think for me this is the worst scenario.
Yeah, and then it comes down to this, because they will be deceived all the time, and they will suffer the consequences for sure, because that's not what they were prepared for, right? That's why God give them the ability for that, to see how far, because you have your free will, so how far can you go, right? That was a good point. Okay, so nobody has anything else. I'm gonna go ahead and do our final prayer, if that's okay. Let me just get to the end of the slide. Okay, so let's all take some time to elevate our thoughts, to be thankful for this opportunity, thankful to be here with you guys, even though we're doing an online class. It's very great to be able to share some of this information with you. Let's take this time to count our blessings as well, to be grateful for our homes, grateful for our health, to be grateful for our families, to be grateful for our jobs, to be grateful to be able to have a little bit of quality of life during this quarantine, to be able to learn with all this self-isolation, to be able to help others as well. Dear God, we are very blessed. We feel very fortunate, and we wish to be able to share with others our blessings. Let us never take anything for granted. Let us count our blessings every single day. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to be on this earth and to learn. Thank you, God, for your teachings. Thank you for being there for us, for all the spiritual friends that are around us, and to be able to help so many lost souls during this difficult time through. And so be it.